Hey folks, back. And of course, we're going to get going with a few of our favorite new members that have joined and then get right into the meat and potatoes of things that are going on. And let's start out with the new members because we always greet them every week. And we stay pretty consistent, about 25 or so new members every week. So we have an upward growth as far as that goes. Starting back, I don't know if I mentioned some of these, but we got Ray and Matava, Pat Plemons, Jonathan Morris, Brian Walker, El Gabrero Guzman, Alex Sharp, Ramir Neal, Marion Brenda Hefner, Evelyn Contreras, Mike Value, Jacob Cody, Chris A. Tench, Dubem Malaki, Brad Jameson, John Viaventine, Paulie Cosmides, AJ Ramish, and then I got somebody from Saudi Arabia or someplace. Can't read the name. Sorry if it's not in English. I can't read it. Then Fabi Annie, Matthew Twinning, Corey Holt, Susan Hartigan, Joe Revillis, Dustin Kennemer, Steve Totten, Kendrick Earl Penner, Ian Newman, and Luke Secker. So those are the new members that we have on here, and we've had quite a few having questions. They always join and have questions, and we do not have any issues in answering them. Just keep in mind, folks, be nice, even though it might seem like a repeat. It's new to them, okay? So we want to make sure that they do learn, and I know all of you that have been on for a while, you just jump in there and answer the questions. It's a beautiful day when I see all those answers coming out. And of course, the education on what we're doing as far as keeping our edges running past 200,000 miles. Yeah, we're really ripping through that one. So we're going to make sure that we do keep things going. We have a lot of different things going on as far as the group and what's happening this week. Some notable things for me was I went in the course last week. I told you I'd bought the wheel bearings, and those were the rear hub assemblies, as they call them. They are not necessarily bearings, but a one-piece unit. And I will show you that here later, what those look like all used up. And, of course, we see that. But I did do that this week. And then, of course, a couple other things that I have to do with my Ford Edge yet, like the front wheel bearings, but I'm going to drive it until I hear some rumbling going on, and then we'll change those out. So I do it in pairs. But as far as what the week has held for us, it has been a lot of stuff. We got Tony Mailer. He's selling some stuff from his Edge. By all means, if you feel that it's something worthwhile to you, private message him with an offer and negotiate with him to get whatever you need to get done and help the gentleman out in what he's trying to do. And let's see, we got all sorts of other things. I did cover my brake shoes. I think you all might be rather surprised, but I got 110,000 miles. I went back and checked my mileage and when I installed them, and I have 110,000 miles on those AutoZone high carbon content rotors and ceramic pads. Your mileage may differ, but I'm not one to use brakes a lot. It's all gas and go, right? So anyway, I do get a lot of mileage out of my brake pads. And yes, I did show you a photograph, and the line that goes through the center is gone, but I haven't even wore out the bevel on those things yet. So for me, that's good enough. We're going to go until we get the bevel gone, and then I'll change them out for the pads. Some might say, "Oh, Bill, you got to change them. The line's worn out." Hey, as they wear, they get more surface. That's what I'm after. So we'll go for a while on them, but I do maintain my brakes. And of course, what I do with them is a yearly cleaning. Yes, grease them up, pull the clips out, clean things up. I use a, what is that I use? I use this CRC ceramic brake grease. That stuff sticks like glue and keeps things lubricated. And when I did go to clean them off, everything was still lubed. There was no rust, and the grease was still there. Although it was starting to dry out, it was still there, and the pins were in great shape too. Cleaned them off, re-lubed them, and tossed everything back in there. And folks, I had no abnormal wear on my pads. My pads were completely flat. I did not have an angle to them. Matter of fact, the inside and outside, Mano's a little bit against me on this one, because what I did was I took the piston side pad and I moved it to the outside of the caliper, and then I put the outside caliper pad to the piston side, because the piston side was just slightly more worn than the caliper outside pad. So I just switched them, folks, is all I did. They were perfectly flat. There was nothing damaged to them. They were all perfectly flat, and that's why I did that. If there'd been abnormal wear to them, I probably would have said, well, I gotta buy new brake pads eventually. But my rotors are not warped or anything like that. So basically, if you go through your brakes once a year, say before fall, pull them apart, re-grease them, grease those pins up. That way you can run through the whole winter. And if you do that once a year, your brakes will operate in a flat, smooth manner. They won't stick. They won't get abnormal wear on your pads or anything like that. And it's worked out good for me, folks. I clean them up every year, and they are running smooth and flat and no abnormal wear. So that is pretty much it. So I figure I won't have to buy new brake pads until about 175,000 to 200,000 miles. So, will my Edge, another 100,000, it'll be 300,000 before I need new brakes. Good golly, that's a long time for brakes, isn't it? But hey, 200,000 mile brakes, what do you say? Follow along with me and see where we go with it. Anyway, we had Alex Sharp. He's asking about the touchscreen. Help him out. There might be something you can do to help him get the fogginess off of his APM screen, because the touchscreen is apparently fogged up on him. So helpful suggestions and hints to clean it up would probably be appreciated with that. Let's see. We got Ron Camestra. He's talking about some oil and everything, Mobil 1, Redline and AMSOIL, and synthetic oils and everything else that go with that. So we want to make sure that we, of course, can take care of a few things there and make sure that we get the right oils in there. And, of course, you guys probably hear that rumbling. Yeah, my door's open and the dryer's running. Oh, my gosh. Thanks. Thanks, Mavosha. Anyway, Mobil 1 is very commonly available, too, as you did say, and the full synthetics and everything else. I do a lot of oil testing here, have been quite a bit lately, and it's been mostly on like the AMSOIL and everything else that I've been using. And now I'm doing the Mobil 1. So I'm starting to build a pretty good library of use. But just keep in mind, all my times as far as oil usage is in hours, not miles. And I find that to be far more accurate for my needs as far as oil changes. And so far, I mentioned this before, folks. Don't use a 0W20 in your engine in your Duratec. Not a good oil, folks. It's too light. It's not. You're gonna get engine damage. That's all I can say. You're gonna get engine damage, and that was using the 020 AMSOIL, and I would say it's across the board for all brands. The 020 is just too light for the Duratec, so stick with the 520, and that's what I went back up to, because I had some metal in my wife's Edge. It wasn't really bad, but they did warn me that, hey, if you keep going this way, you're going to have problems. So I went back up to the 520 for the mom bus, and I may go to a 530 if it keeps up going, any problems with it. But I have reduced the oil change interval for hers down to 100 miles or 100 hours, and hopefully that does solve some issues. If not, if it keeps going downhill, I don't know. We may have to, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'll monitor the bearing wear and we'll go from there. But yeah, I think the oil will fix a lot of the problems on that. Lots of folks out and about, beautiful days, and taking pictures in the neighborhoods, visiting landmarks and everything else. And it is a great day out. Unfortunately for me, it is not such a great day. It has to rain once in a while, and it's looking like it's going to. And I didn't want to set up outside and then get it rained on. So no raining on my parade. Let's see. We had Fernando Santos. He's changing out his tie rod, and he had to apply some heat and some other manual force to get his to bust loose. Looks like that thing's just a wee bit on the rusty side, and we all know what rust does. It makes your job miserable. Randy, he went out and he changed all his fluids, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. But he dropped, what was it, Randy? You dropped 4 miles per gallon, and all you did was change fluids? That's a strange critter there. Don't know what to tell you. See what the dealer did. Make sure you check the weights and viscosities, proper oils, and were they all synthetics? If they threw something in there, tire pressures, all that stuff. You want to check all that out to make sure everything's good. No vacuum leaks, etc., etc. Try to determine why you're running less gas mileage after that. And Dan the man he's been out there busy. He changed his T-stat in his Ford Edge, and he drained the fluid out. He took the cover off at the bottom underneath there, that splash shield. He took that off underneath the front end so that the fluid could drain right out. And I'm going to tell Dan, good job. And then I'm going to tell the rest of you, I'm just too lazy to do that. I just reach up with a wrench, loosen it up, and let it spill out, hose it out when I'm done, and call it a day. That's how I do it. But if you wanted to have less mess, I guess you go through and undo the bolts and fasteners, and of course remove that to do that. But I just crawl under, zip her open, and let her drain, and close it and pour it back full. That's my regular maintenance. If you guys don't know why I'm doing that, I don't change out all the fluid. I change out I think it's about 5 quarts when it drains out of the radiator. And then I add a 50-50 mix back in, top her off, and then as you drive, run the heat just a little bit. Once you get it done, get the thermostat, of course, hot, and then run the heat, and then, of course, it opens up, mixes everything in. And if you do that every couple months over the year, you will have completely changed it out. Sort of like a 3 times drain and fill in a lot of ways on your transmission fluid, but at a gradual pace. And all I'm aiming for is to keep that lubrication of the antifreeze up to top notch as much as possible to save my water pump. And of course, with 200,000 miles on it, y'all probably making bets right now. When's Bill's water pump gonna fail? So we'll see. Last one I drove went 285,000 miles, and the water pump was the OEM water pump, folks. So we'll see where it goes. We'll just keep on trucking, and we'll see where it goes. Anyway, another thing, some of you may have noticed that I am no longer on the page as Bill Trammell Jr. I decided that I wanted to, reflect what I'm doing, and on a whim, change it to MACTFORDEDGE. Now, here's the problem. Number one, my mother will see this on the Facebook page and go, "What have you done?" So I may change it back in 60 days, which is what you have to wait once you change your name to change it back. So it's a temporary thing, and it depends how you guys like it. If you like me going by Bill better than MacT, then let me know. In 60 days, I'll change it back. I just, on a whim, decided to do it just to see what's going on with it. So it's not a permanent thing if you all don't want it to be. I'll let you guys tell me whether you like it or not. But that's what I did. I already got one down thumb from the guy with no face. You all know who he is, right? Yeah, I'll just say it. He just did. He's not certain that's a good deal. So I already got one pressure on me. I'm just waiting for my mother now. Anyway, You gotta make mom happy, don't you? Anyway, we got Dan's checking out his fuel trims and everything after his actually his temperatures on there. He's concerned it was a little bit warmer, but as far as I can see, that is a pretty normal temperature, Dan. So I think you're doing all right. I don't see anything abnormal out of that, nor your fuel trim. So you're doing good. Let's see. We got Dustin Kennemer. He's joined up and he's wanting to know what to do. And of course, everybody popped up. It said change every fluid, and that's exactly right. Anytime you buy a used Ford Edge, if you do not know for certain what the status of those fluids are, change them. Yes, change them all, and that way you know where you're at, and then you can proceed on smartly. It's not a big investment to change the fluids yourself. You can do it at home, and of course I'm going to show you here later a new device I bought to make changing fluids easier. And tell you the truth, I think you're all going to like it, because I'm going to show it how it's used, and it will make, it could make oil changes easier, it could make transmission fluid changes easier, power steering fluids, brake fluid, everything will be easier. Yes, and I'm going to do some videos on using it. I'm not trying to sell the product, but you know what? If I can find a way to make it easier for less expense, you do have to put a few bucks out for it, but once you get it, the uses for this are just unbelievable. There's so many different uses, and you folks with PTUs will even like it too. So, now what do we have going on here? We got Ian Newman, new member. I think he's from over in Europe, United Kingdom, and he posted pictures of his Ford Edge, and I believe that's a diesel. Yes, diesel. So you might want to check that out. And then, okay, now I'm going to tell you all in a Facebook group, you saw me post statistics up, and I run other Facebook groups, one for my church and other things I work with. And for those groups, they've always had that thing called Insights. Now, Insights gives you statistics, when people are using it, what time of day, what days are your better days, all this information, age groups, all this stuff that you saw that I posted as photographs on there, age, gender, all that stuff. Okay, who's making the most posts? I've always had that access with my other, Facebook groups that I've been using, and as an administrator. Okay, and I could never understand why Facebook didn't have it. They didn't have it. So, all of a sudden, boom, this week, Insights pops up. I've been asking for that. I've been on forums asking for it, and boom, now we got it. I've been using third-party software to track everything, and it gives me pretty much what the Insights does, but they eventually want you to pay. So, I was like, I ain't going to pay them to find that stuff out. So I'm glad that Facebook has done this. And for just visual reference for you folks, you can see what you're doing. And some of you, of course, have learned. Some of you post more than others, and so it does keep track of that. And no, the admins are not included. I checked, and there's no way I can get the stats for the admins, but I can guarantee you I'm probably up there at top. So it ain't like I ain't trying. But anyway, I try to keep the content moving for you folks by posting stuff up, things that will elicit responses and things like that. And I know you all do it too, and it really does help. Of course, I posted the wheel bearing photographs and everything. We got our backup cameras. We got some very good information on there. And I'm probably thinking most of you, a lot of these repairs, most of you are guilty of it. I know in the back of your mind you're thinking, I hope Bill's Edge backup camera fails so he can make a video. I know y'all think that, right? So don't jinx me. I don't want to go and fix everything. Holy cow, that'd mean my car was unreliable. I like it that it works good. So, but if it does fail, then I'll fix it. But as I always told you folks, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Leave it alone. It ain't broke. So we're going to leave it alone until it does break. Let's see. We got Chris. He's just washed his car. And, of course, he's busy getting that thing all shiny and pretty and doing good with it. And then, of course, let's see. Tom Thomas Miller said, unfortunately, he had his wife run into a car or something. Hey, you know what? I feel for you all. Just be nice. My wife, God bless her, she hit my edge with her edge. Yeah, okay. We ain't going there no further, but just keep in mind, accidents happen, and keep in also mind it is just a car. Yes, I know some of you disagree. Oh no, Bill, it's not a car. It is a car, folks. Okay, it's an inanimate object. I got family. I got daughters. They're good. They're good health. I'm happy. It is ultimately just a car. So leave it at that. I did find some emission certificates, and I was rather surprised that the emission certificates are only good up until 120,000 miles. After that, all bets are off for the catalytic converters, as Ford has tested them. So I guess after that, you're on your own after 120,000 miles. But it's just a little bit of FYI information that I run across doing some searches for some other stuff. Let's see. We got other questions about FCC codes for engines and engine types that were asked by Rashidi Amr. Don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure. Maybe you all can figure it out, but I cannot figure out what those codes mean, and I just don't know. I have no clue other than calling a dealer or calling Ford and asking for those codes. Be careful what you order, folks. It looks like Jack Kemmler, he ordered some transmission fluid, and he got synthetic manual transmission fluid when he ordered. So double check your orders when you're online and make sure you got the right stuff. There's a lot of tools available out there: Rock Auto Fitment, eBay Fitment, and Amazon Fitment. They will tell you if it's the right part for your car. Just pay attention to it. If it's a big red letters and says does not fit your whatever, then don't order it. It's not going to fit. Okay? They're pretty reliable, but still double check. Trust but verify. And then you shouldn't have any problems. You did see that I did post a spare tire video. Hope you all enjoyed watching that and learned a little bit about your tire codes and also other things that go on with your tires. It's interesting to know those tire codes when you go to buy tires. That way you make sure you got the freshest tires you can get. Let's see. Jordan Overby asked some questions again on some oil, and of course I covered that already. PTU drill and tap. Buck Newbie wants to do a PTU drill and tap, and of course do graduated drill, start small and go big, as they say, and then of course add that plug in there and make sure that you just careful, cover the tap with some grease so it'll catch all the little bits and pieces of metal as you're tapping it, and you should be in good shape. Many people have done this and nobody's called back saying, hey, it broke my transmission or something. We haven't heard anything like that back. At least I haven't. So, we're assuming it's a good deal. And personally, if I own a Ford Edge with a PTU, I'd have had that thing drilled and tapped years ago. Okay? I'd be draining it every month. But then again, I drive a lot. So, anyway, a lot of different things with running the Edge as far as coils and spark and everything else. Just keep in mind, folks, a lot of engine ignition issues translate into bad transmission feel. So always start with the engine and work your way back. That way you know what's going on. So we'd make sure the engine's running good. Then after that, then we can check the transmission. It's just, you just got a process of elimination. So if you haven't been taking care of the engine, changing plugs and all this other stuff, that may be your problem. Usually is, most of the time. And of course the transmission, if you're not taking care of your engine, you're probably not taking care of transmission, right? And as we all know, it's the dynamo theory. And it just gets worse from there. So we always preach maintenance, 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 right? Detailing the Edge. Folks asking about detailing the Edge, keeping it clean. And of course, I'm not a detailer. There are plenty of people on the group here that do know a lot about that. So by all means, pay attention to what they say. I just don't wash my car that much. I don't wash my Edge. And let's see. Buffing and waxing. Wax on, wax off. There you go. Karate Kid, right? Yes. Let's see. Coy's getting good gas mileage. A lot of different things going on. A lot of different pictures I'm putting up there. Steve Cole did reward his minions with ice cream. Yes. And we got proof pictures to prove that he is a good dad and does feed them sugar. Yes. That's not good, is it? Yeah, it is. What the heck? They need sugar. It makes them wash the car faster. And then, of course, Coy Connor was out at the racetrack with his Edge, just having a great time. I need to get out there, Coy. I haven't been to a race yet this year. Been so busy. I need to get out to the dirt track and enjoy myself. Memberships and everything else, we're doing good. But lots of different work going on, so we're going to carry on smartly. Kevin Messner, by the way, has been posting some excellent photographs again. And I love posting his pictures, but I try to spread it out so you all get an opportunity to have your photographs up there too. But, you know, if I had my choice, I'd just post his and Charity's pictures up all day long. They're great. Those two are really good at taking pictures. You know, I do enjoy them, and I will post more of them up. But like again, I try to share. We got a lot of new members, and I just want to make everybody feel that they're being paid attention to. And it's hard, you know, the bigger the group gets, it's tough, but I love you all, so we're just going to try to share the wealth in that. Emily Briney's trying to buy herself a Ford Edge Sport. You know, everybody gave great information to help her make a decent decision, okay? And I think she's dropped to what she's doing, and she's going towards a different color one now with a few more options. So, you know, it's great advice you all are giving, and you're being nice about it. So that's the best thing about it. Let's see. Got 2017 Titanium all-wheel drive with a 2.0 EcoBoost, and I don't know what the deal is with it. The gentleman here, Mike Osborne, is saying he's got some lag, about 1.5 seconds of lag. That seems a little excessive on the 2.0. So since the 2.0s do have a tubing attachment problem, thinking that maybe you need to check some of those air tubes and everything on the turbos to make sure they're tight and you don't have a split or break or broken or loose fitting or something like that. You're losing boost is what's happening to you, Mike. So you might want to check that out. And it has been a known point of problem for some of the EcoBoost. So check that out. Make sure everything is good to go. And then, of course, maybe even fuel. Check your fuel. Make sure you're running the right type of fuel in it to do that. But check out those tubes and everything first. Let's see. I'm going to jump right into a few other things here now that I do have. And, of course, next oil filter change will be the Purolator Boss filter. It's a 15,000-mile filter. And, you know, to tell you the truth, this thing is small. It's for the Ford Edge, but it is a smaller filter than the AMSOIL. So we'll give it a shot here and, of course, see this. But it comes in a really funky container. But, you know, everything it says, it's a top-line filter. A lot of the reviews and everything else say that this is. So this will be my filter of choice for a little while till it proves me it doesn't work or I have problems. But don't have any AMSOIL filters left, so I'm going with the Purolators because they are, quite frankly, easier to get. I got them for 13 bucks a piece. So if you want to know the cost, 13 bucks. But we do have that. Now, we got this. You guys know what this is, right? It's a Pela. 6 quarts. And I'm going to do some videos on this thing. Okay, folks? It has the tubes and the hoses. It just clips right up in here. You pump it. It sucks up the fluid. And it has a base and everything to do it. So you just pump it up. And it just sits right on top. It doesn't sit. You just pump it up. Like so, and it creates a suction. Now I can't get the cap off. There we go. But it does create a suction, and then it has a convenient pour spout, so you can pour it out. You just simply take this off, and then you can pour all the fluid out. Now, I bought this because I'm going to do something with this that show you guys the versatility is. you do know that the transmission fluid place, they stick the hose down in the transmission and they suck the fluid out 1 quart and add 1 quart. Well, folks, I'm going to use this. I'm going to suck 6 quarts out, and then I'm going to add 6 quarts, and I'm going to go out and drive it around. And then I'm going to come back, put that back in there, take 6 quarts out, put 6 quarts back in, drive it around. That there, folks, has got to be the poor man's transfer fluid machine. Okay? I think that this is going to work, and I'm going to do a video showing how to use it, and I will see the results. I'll make sure I take a sample of each one that I do pull out, and we'll see the color change and everything else, and see, hey, if it keeps you from having to crawl under the edge, and then you're not using any tools or anything, you just suck it out with that. Well, it can get easier, right? And then the same thing for the oil. You can actually suck your engine oil out with that thing by sticking that tube in there. And also your power steering fluid, unlimited vacuum, large container. You can suck it out, pour it in, spin it around, pour it back out. Granted, it costs more than a turkey baster, but you know what? If you're using it for that, you can use it for your lawnmower to change out the oil in your lawnmower. Like I have 3 or 4 pieces of equipment I got to change. I can just stick it down there, suck the oil on, fill it back up, and call it a day. So for me, this is more than just a Ford Edge tool. It is a home tool to suck out fluids. And on top of it, that thing will probably suck out the fluid out of your PTU too. So keep that in mind. I'm going to show a lot of different videos using this to change fluids, just to show the versatility of it and how to make our lives easier in changing things, so that we can keep up on what's going on. Now, I do have something I want to show you. No, I had to leave for a second there. But, by the way, see these gloves? Yes, these are the gloves I wear when I do my work on my Edge. They are extra large 9mm latex gloves. Work pretty good. They brake clean. They last a fairly good amount of time with brake clean. They will eventually rip and tear, just like any other glove with brake clean. But I'm going to tell you what, they last longer because they're 9mm thickness, right? So they're 9mm thickness. They're good. They're sturdy, and you get them at Harbor Freight. I don't know, 10, 15 bucks. I forget what they charge for them. But they get a whole box, like 50 or more of them in the box. You can't beat the price on them. I've checked around, and they are very good. So if you don't like getting your hands dirty, and sometimes I forget to put them on, and my hands are all cut up from these stupid wheel bearings. But this thing's got this one here ain't bad. I'm going to show you the other one. Now, here in Iowa, as you can see, yes, look at that. You see that? Look at that. I beat the snot out of this thing. Yes, I beat the snot out of it. Look at that. Now, I beat this thing so hard, I beat it like, what they say, what was that saying? Beat it like a red-headed stepchild. Holy cow. If you can see, look at that. I went at it with an air hammer. I did everything to this thing that I could. I beat it so hard, I beat the studs out of it. Okay? It would not come free. Finally, we started heating it up, and then once we got the heat applied to it sufficiently, tried beating it out with the hammer, and I beat that thing smooth. Now keep in mind, this black ring right here, that is your speed sensor reading area. Okay, your speed sensor reads this metal ring as it spins around. So I had to avoid hitting a speed sensor because I couldn't get that out. So I just took and just kept beating the tar out of this thing, and eventually I got it out. But you know, folks, this thing, it turns hard, really hard. Okay. And it even has catches in it. It was terrible, okay? But I did eventually get it all out and get it removed. And that was the one that was on the left rear, driver's side rear, and it was in terrible shape. Now, this one here is on the right rear. Lot better, folks. Look at that. This one is a lot better shape. Spins pretty easy. You know, it's a little difficult. It's got 200,000 miles, but it spins a lot easier. Okay? This one was in a lot better shape. But this one still had to be heated up. Okay? But as you can see, I did not have to beat it hard. We put the hammer on it. We glowed it up on these ears right here. Red hot. And then I started beating on the back while we had the puller on here. And that's why I got the gloves on, because I got the silver snot all over these things. And once you get that stuff on you, it keeps giving. You get it all over your face and everything else. But the anti-seize was on there, and I beat that thing to death, folks. Beat it to death, and finally got it off. But the second one came off a lot easier. Okay, I'll have the video posted up next week. But just keep in mind, I live in the Rust Belt, and the rust is seriously bad here. And this is one reason why. Let's see, get the gloves off. Yeah, take them off. There we go. But anyway, that is what the wheel bearings were doing for me. And the kind of hate and discontent that I had while I was trying to take them off. I was like, holy cow, what am I going to do with these things? But I did get the new wheel bearings on. Everything is rolling right along. And I'm thinking, will I get better gas mileage? What do you guys think? Think I'll get better gas mileage with two new rear wheel bearings that are probably rolling easier? Less resistance? More gas mileage? Hey, let's see what happens. Because that one was probably dragging my car. Yeah. It was, it's not turning easy. It probably half wore the tire out. It wasn't doing so good. And you say, well, Bill, we should have changed it earlier. Well, I should have, yes, but I didn't have the wheel bearings. I ordered them. I had to wait for them. And then, of course, can't change it while I'm driving it. So I had to wait till I had an opportunity, and I did it at my first opportunity and got it done. And that's what I'm happy about. So that is what I'm going to do. The front wheel bearings will be the next ones when I get a noise out of them. I don't like changing things until I know. And once one wheel bearing on the front goes, you just change both of them, call it a day. I did learn my lesson on this rusty thing, and I'm going to, of course, buy new hubs and bearings. Okay, so it'll cost a little more, but this way I can just pull the whole thing off and toss them, and then pull the bearing out, and then I can just press a new bearing onto the hub and call it a day. I don't have to sit there and mess with this. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. I do have other things that I got to do here. Over 200,000 miles, and I do have some belts I have to replace. So I'm going to do my best, since I have never, to my how do you say it, to my satisfaction, ever shown a belt change for power steering stretchy belt that is sufficiently detailed. It's hard to get in there, and I'm going to do my best to get a camera in there and show how to do it. Okay, I've done it many times. I just never, I'm always in a hurry. This time I'm just going to go in and just do belts. That's all I'm going to do. That way I have the time and I can show it in better detail how to do it, and some tricks and everything else that, of course, I've been learning along the way to make this an easy job. What else do I have to do? Nothing really. Everything's going on my edge good. I'm still just trucking along, but yeah, the wheel bearings, that was a pain, a royal pain, folks. Some of you, I wish you all the best of luck on it. If yours are rusty like mine are, be ready with the blowtorch. You're going to have to heat those things up pretty warm to get them off. So if you're thinking DIY, just keep in mind, you may have to have some heat. Otherwise, I weld on them things, folks, and my hands are swollen. Okay, I'm not used to that type of thing, but man, look at my hand. It is swollen, and I hit my knuckle on there, so yeah, blood and gore, folks. Yeah, as always, I end up getting something damaged on my body in the process. But yeah, that was a 2.5 or 3 pound hand sledgehammer I was using, and then we had the sledge puller on the other side, and we're beating it both ways this Sunday. So it took a while, but did get it off, and of course we did finally get the new ones on. And the ring inside, I cleaned all the rust off, scraped it, chiseled all the rust and everything off. And folks, when I put the new ones in, there's no resistance. I didn't even have to use the bolts to pull them in. They slid right in. So what that tells me is if I ever have to change these rear wheel bearings again, I may have to buy the whole trailing arm assembly new to replace it, because I have a feeling those things are going to be so rusted and pitted and open that there might be a slop in there I don't want. So we'll see what the status will be then on the next set if I ever do it, because hopefully these Motorcraft wheel bearings will last another 200,000. I don't know. We'll see if they're as good as the OEM, but did get that far on them, so let's hope that they do last longer. Other than that, a lot of different things going on. We are definitely got plans on some other videos that I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to work hard to get those out to y'all. But that's pretty much it that I really do have to cover today. The wheel bearings were the primary thing. The Pela, I'm going to be doing some changes with the fluids on that and some videos. And I've done them before, but not this way. And I just want to show you how much easier tools that are not expensive can be, to help make your repairs easier. And we all like to save time, and that's really what the goal is behind everything. But overall, my Edge status, I'll let you all know how the wheel bearings do, because tomorrow morning I got to put about 350 miles on my Edge. So I'll give them a good run, see what's going on, and make sure that they're operating properly. But again, I do thank you, all the members, and of course I do want you all, if you are on this Facebook group and you have not subscribed to the MACT YouTube channel, that is now over 2,500 subscribers. So by all means, jump over there and hit that subscribe button, and of course help me out, because more subscribers actually helps me out more than anything. So if you haven't jumped on there, jump on it, and of course join. And as with all things, if you all do need a sticker, the MACT stickers are still there. I got about maybe 40 or so left, not even that. I think a little over 40. So I had 100, so we sold about 60 or so, actually more than 60 stickers. And of course we want to make sure that we can get rid of the rest of these. So all you have to do is hit that donate button on the Facebook group at the top at the pinned comment, and then pay $5, and I'll ship them to U.S. and Canada only. If you want them in an overseas area, then you're going to pay all the shipping that's involved in that. But other than that, I do have those ready and able to be shipped out to you if you so want to buy them. But as with all things on this YouTube channel too, I want to wish you all a great day. But also remember, Facebook. Join up on the Facebook group, MACTFORDEDGE on Facebook. And of course, YouTube. Join up on the same group here, this channel, MACTFORDEDGE on YouTube. And of course, hit that like button on all these videos as you watch them. And last but not least, my feet hit the floor today, and I'm having a great day. And I want you all to have a great day too. And with that being said, we got Mercy Girl. She's going to toss a couple of one-liners at you. And then we're going to have the Band of One. And you Facebook group members, go to the Band of One and download his music, listen to him, and give him some incentive to make us more music. Yes, Kevin Messner, you're a great photographer and musician, so by all means help him out on that for the Band of One. And then of course some follow-on footage of me doing crazy things. I don't know. We'll see what I come up with, but you all have a great day.
Thank you for watching our video. Remember to like and subscribe. Listen to Mercy Girl Production.